Let's get it.
On the unpopular opinion, we have author of Surviving Tough Times, Misunderstood Adrienne, entrepreneur, Miss AmorBlue, Tatiana, owner of Mental Massage, Melinda, your host, Stradivari, on the unpopular opinion. So let me ask you, ladies, sisters, we gotta talk about the stock market. Please, Monique, Netflix, are we serious? Get paid like the world trade. As racially motivated as you are, not really?
Yeah. So that actually was a good video right there. What's up with y'all ladies? It's been a minute on this sis op. I really want to know what's going on with y'all. How y'all been? What's up, Miss Melinda? How's that birthday been going?
That was fun. That was fabulous. It was multi-dimensional. It had many different elements to it, but I always come up with something interesting.
Oh, okay. For your birthday, so you always got the interesting birthdays. So
Yeah.
this birthday, what was so interesting about this birthday?
Well, I've already had multiple people tell me that they were going to copy my style because the RV in the woods with the drink, with the food and the fire and it's a nice setup.
It was a very good. You like the ambiance of the whole entire camping trip. That sounds pretty good. Okay, okay, birthday girl. Okay, okay, I like that. I like that. What about you, Miss Tatiana? What's been going on with you? It's been a while. Oh, I think she's frozen over there. Well, to really be honest, Miss Belinda, we actually today has been a serious week for us.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
there you go.
frozen a little bit.
There you go. What's going on?
Um, just been trying to get through the rest of the school year, which is what I'm working. I got a entrepreneurship program coming up, so that is something that will help me into new projects and help the projects that I am already doing. So it's a lot, and then I'm taking the summer off, so I have a lot going on, like a lot of free time.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, today I really wanted to talk to you ladies a lot about money. I really want to go in on money a little bit because today the stock has really been kind of like crashing, not even on a regular shape or form, but the percentages of how the stock market has been hit has been kind of overwhelming. A good 14 percentage points is kind of big when it comes to the S&Ps and everything. I'm really flabbergasted on how the stock market is actually crushing everybody's funds. So, Miss Melinda, what do we actually do? What do we actually do?
If you talk to the traders, then this is a great time to get rich.
What you mean by that?
You bet on crash options, you make a whole lot of money.
You mean and you bet on all of the everything that's falling down is the up.
I mean, I fairly apparently it's more complicated than that. I mean, everybody knows that everything was highly inflated, overinflated. So um, it's a correction that'll last for an amount of time. So yeah, you can bet on it going down and going back up and win on both sides. Like that's the thing that the average person is not really calculating. There's no absolute number that you really care about. You care about relatively knowing whether it's going up or down. And so when it's crashing, you know where it's going. It's going to the flow. So a lot of people make a lot of money betting on that. And then of course it's buy low and wait for it to get higher. Because inevitably, I guess the idea is it will go higher at some point.
You buy low?
As opposed to buying high, yes.
Uh-huh. But you buy low at an optional time. Like, is this the time to buy low on like Bitcoin?
For me, if I was, yeah, for me, yeah, because I mean, Bitcoin was at 2,000 for a long time, and then it was at this kind of mid-tier, like it is now, for a long time. And so that very quick, I think it went from 20 to 60 really quick. That's almost like a bottom or a floor, I think. And I don't think me personally, I don't think Bitcoin is going anywhere. So I do think it's a good time to buy. I haven't bought anything, but I think it's a good time.
What do you think that all of the ramifications and everything that they do to Bitcoin will kind of end? Will it actually, be a break in this? So once they actually like put like a kind of a cap over it, do you think it'll start building from that cap?
Meaning that when the last Bitcoin is mined and there are no more Bitcoin to be mined?
I mean, like regulations, when it's not more, when all of the regulations are over. Like, because right now at this point in time, we are like at everybody's trying to regulate how the banks are kind of like adding more fees and drawing more fees. Once these fees are over and once the regulations are over, I think inflation and everything will kind of build on your money then. Right now it's building on bank money, but after a while, it can only feed on but so much until you can actually start making money again. It can't just bottom out.
I fundamentally agree with you, but I guess I would just simply say, as it relates to regulation coming to kill crypto, if that's what you're asking, I definitely think that regulation will come in some form. I definitely think that it will curb the amount of tokens that are on the market. I think somebody said something like 17,000 tokens. So people are introducing tokens there. I just had a conversation with a business partner about introducing 3 different tokens. But I personally just don't think Bitcoin in particular is going anywhere.
Okay.
I just don't. I mean, you have had, whole countries adopted as its currency. And so many people are transacting in Bitcoin right now. And essentially all of the big investors they hold some Bitcoin.
Right.
Asset class.
So I mean, everybody holds some Bitcoin, but it's taking a plunge. Like Miss Tatiana, ain't it taking a serious plunge? What are you effectively supposed to do if you add so much money to it and it's plunging like this? What are we supposed to do right now? What is the best move? Like,
what you're not supposed to do is sell it and realize the loss. That's what you're not supposed to do.
30 and it's 20.
What would you say again?
Like what you're not supposed to do if you already. She said what you're not supposed to do.
Right. So you saying just because it's super, super low, don't just sell. Point.
No, I mean, once you sell, then you have realized the loss. You have not realized the loss while you're just holding it. You still have an asset that will likely appreciate in value. So if you sell it or trade it or do anything that realizes the loss, then you have loss. Now, if you're doing that for tax purposes, because sometimes we need some tax losses to help us out. We've talked about that before. Then that's one thing. But I'm just saying, if you hold 5 or 6 or 7, 8 Bitcoin, then you're doing pretty well. You wouldn't sell it right now. You probably would get more if it's Bitcoin.
You think so? I mean,
yeah.
If when it was at 40, you was happy.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? Dollar cost averaging?
Yeah, average dollar cost. Right.
The dollar cost averaging, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I mean, you would buy more because that's going to bring down the cost of what you ultimately have.
So economically, is this a true factor that we should always think about the next thing that's going to get big instead of always banking on something? Like right now, this is not a good thing you should bank on. You should be looking for the next thing. What do you think should be the next, or is going to be the next thing that's going to blow up? I mean, what do you think? You got any wish list? Like Miss Tatiana, I'm gonna ask you, what you got a wish list of what do you think could be the next best thing? If you do say what the wish list is, I do want to commend you on becoming a millionaire, billionaire by giving up the sauce on what you might think it might be the best.
I don't want to well, I mean, no, because I'm not telling anything if I go ahead. There are definitely some things that I would like to get like
You and
and
this.
like I kind of like not like the Shark Tank thing, but that thought process of things, because there's so many things that I use that I have perfected myself to make better, and I was like, why am I not making money off of this? Like talking to myself, like, wait a minute, girl, like, and I feel like I'm selling myself a little short, but it's not on purpose, and it's not in a way that you would think. It's kind of like you're already like delved in so many things and you don't want to add on to create less quality in the things you're doing, but just some things that you could take and do. Like even I was talking to my mom and she had like a great idea and I was like, we need to do that. Like
Mhm.
we need to do that.
So you're saying building self-care, building your wealth right now, building your business, coming up with new ideas is the best
Right.
way to.
Like building right. I feel like you are your greatest asset at times.
Mhm.
You doubt yourself, which means you doubt the things that you put out, which is your product. And when you put more into yourself, whether that's minimizing or maximizing, because you may need to cut some things out and give some more quality toward things, or you may need to add on some to better what you're doing. And I kind of like in that state right now because I'm being myself personally being pushed up against the wall, and it's like pressure busts pipes, pressure makes diamonds.
You and this daggone internet. Ugh. Well, I hear what you're saying, you and that internet, but that was one phase of the world that I really wanted to talk about. Like we right now at this point in time, I believe is 4 point. I don't know how many billions of people live in this actual United States, but I believe um 59% have a monthly description on something. And then another 80% of the whole entire world has a subscription somewhere, whether it's your phone or something that is always taking. Like, I don't know how many subscriptions you might have on just cable alone, but if you have a cable TV channel and a TV and you have a subscription inside of the cable television, inside of that cable television, then what's the point of having that cable actually the whole thing? Like, if you're paying on top of another one, all of these subscriptions don't make sense. So you really need to understand how you can build your money by understanding how do those subscriptions add up and what you can actually do to actually balance out that subscription to build a wealthy impact of how much money you're going to build per year. It's kind of weird. I mean, if you just think about subscribing to yourself for the next 10 years, you'll be a millionaire doing that. But I mean, I'm just saying, instead of giving a subscription to Hulu, Netflix, or just anything, how about doing a subscription towards like your bank account where it monthly just annually does the same thing? Just 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 a little tip, just a little tip. But just giving you that tip, I wanted to talk a little bit about Netflix and the
Can
Monique.
can I ask you before you change because you just said something? You said do what to your put give yourself a tip in the bank?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well, how would you wouldn't do a monthly subscription to your bank? To
No,
your bank account? You wouldn't add that extra subscription to your bank account every month?
no, because a bank account is one of the slowest growing, if it even is considered an assets there are.
But
Of
you're
all
growing
asset
it.
classes.
You're growing it to keep it in one pocket of a bank. You're not spending anything. You're growing it on your own.
Yeah, but so money has to move, right? It's like when you get money, if you don't do anything with it, it loses value, right, over time.
Okay.
The amount of quote unquote interest that the bank is giving you is so minuscule. There's so many other asset classes that would be better if you were going to just regularly invest. So I regularly invest into mutual funds, into insurance vehicles, into things of that nature. Um, because they have a higher interest rate. You're essentially losing money by putting money in the bank because they might give you what 0.01. And what's inflation right now?
I think
4%.
4%, right?
Something like that.
It might be higher now.
Yeah, so you're losing 4% by putting money in the bank. So I would just say, since we like to talk about financial things, people should definitely be looking at the assets that are going to appreciate at a rate that makes sense. The bank, generally speaking, is not that.
So what? So you're saying do more of a mutual type?
10%.
What is that, Tatiana? Girl, you and this internet.
We didn't hear you, Miss Tatiana.
She said something about 15%.
The inflation is not 15%, is it? It's not.
No, that was what happened in the stock market on how everything went up and down. They lost some serious percentages. That 15%.
But it dropped a long time ago. So I wasn't in the market this last week or this week, so I'm not tracking. I wouldn't know exactly, but it's been dropped a long time ago.
Oh, really?
They called a bear market. Yeah, what, it was about a month ago?
Uh-huh.
Which I forget what it is when the market drops. Let me see. I can look up my notes and tell you. But go ahead, Tatiana. Are you back? What happened?
Yeah, back. That internet is terrible. Oh. Somebody, you need to market a new internet over there. Oh. Your internet is on the trash field. What is that? What is that internet system right there? Who internet system is that? Because I need to know so I can.
Who's the provider?
Who provided?
It's storming here. It's storming here.
I was about to give it a straight 0. Never getting that again, ever. Oh, I
don't have that much trouble. I don't have that much trouble. It's storming here.
Well, I do want to talk a little bit. Well, the stock market is a good thing that we're talking about, and money is a guarantee that we really need to talk about that. I'm glad I said something to you, and you jumped in on that, Miss Melinda. You definitely came in on knowing a little bit about what you're supposed to do. So you're saying every month, instead of me subscribing money to Netflix or something, if I subscribed into a mutual fund, what would happen to that? What type of mutual fund we talking about?
Well, I mean, the mutual funds are generally speaking, that's the typical market. So the market is down. I don't know. Like, I've been in many of my investments for a long time, right? So decades. So the market is still up in 20 years.
Okay.
It's down in a shorter period of time. So I have here written that a bear market is when it's declined 20% from its all-time highs. All-time highs. So people still making money. It's been in the market for a long time. It's just they're making less money than they were.
They're making money, but they're just making less of it.
Yeah, the rate of return is less. So you might have been making 13%, and now you might be making 2% or something like that.
Okay. Oh God.
Yeah. But as long as you're making money, you're making money.
Okay.
So what I'm saying though is, I don't know about mutual. You have to look, but what are things that asset classes that are essentially always appreciating?
Well,
real estate.
That's what I had a question on real estate. Like personally, if you're like buying how can you try to buy?
Let me do it.
Buying a house, like buy, and then eventually you'll have the house. Why do you have to try like spend all this mortgage money instead of just investing in a company that buys houses? Like, what is going on with this investment of a housing market? Why is it so low and crashing so fast at this point?
The housing market?
Yeah.
I don't think the housing market is crashing.
They're building a lot of houses, but it's no one can buy it.
Yeah, I don't think the housing market is crashing.
They're renting them than actually buying the house now.
People are always buying
houses. I feel like you're talking about two separate things between the housing market and what they're charging for rent.
Yeah.
I believe those are two separate things because I know for a fact myself and amongst many other people who have purchased homes or been on the purchase of homes, our homes are worth way more. but people who are renting are not delving what they're passing down to other people. There's like places that they're talking about where rent was $1,200 and rent is going up $300-$400 in a year. And it was funny, but it's not funny. They like, how y'all going to charge 2022 prices with 1995 bathrooms? Like, like make it make sense. So I do understand that, which I think is another part of the whole system of what's going on between inflation and everything. Meaning, like, yes, houses are worth more, but that means people are also charging more for your just cost of everything. Like, I call it, people say cost of living, but no, cost of everything. You go outside, it costs to go outside. Like,
it costs to go outside.
right, like it costs to go outside. I'm trying to get this camera sideways. Excuse me, I'm having malfunctions here with this storm, but here I am. Okay, but yeah, it costs to go outside at this point, and it's like ridiculous. Like, what are we doing? What's going on? Like, they want 3 times of what you make. They're like, the woman at the office don't even make 3 times what the rent costs.
Right. If gas is like almost $5, it almost
It
costs
is.
more to actually leave the house.
It's the 5.
It's definitely 5.
Yeah, because literally, they got 5 on it. Like,
you can get 1 gallon of gas for $5.
Right. I saw somebody put $6 in the other day. I was like, baby, just go on home.
Right. You better make it to the house.
Right. No, just go on home. I'm at a half a tank now, and I'm gonna get up in the morning and cry a little bit at the pump, and with my homemade breakfast sandwich and
I thought she was gonna
juice.
say with her homemade gas.
No, homemade breakfast. Now, no, let's not talk about that. I know. We definitely have to talk about that. That the guy who was making the gas, was it the gas car, or was the guy with the clean water? Which one was it? Making water out of air. It was either the guy who was making water out of air, or the guy who was making the car that ran on water got killed in the Buffalo shooting tops supermarket.
What?
It was the car then. And I do have some slight memory of that, but I just recently saw
right. Okay. Thank you, Miss Melinda. Because I was like, I don't remember which one.
Out of air is in Texas, and and I saw the picture, so I think it was not him. I think.
Okay, so a guy make water out of air. Okay.
Right, and his is patent, and he's doing that right now. But the guy who made car that runs on water, he got killed at that top supermarket.
Wow, didn't know that. That's a coincidence. A little weird.
Terrible coincidence.
Terrible. Terrible. I've been looking it up though. I think his work is patent and backed or something. So there is like, but I think some of the stuff dies with him. Like
the guy making a carburetor the first time, and 1 drop of gas went for like 300 miles. I don't know how do they dilute everything, and it just so.
I feel like the gas runs. Am I the only one? The gas is shorter now.
Like, it makes no sense how America does things at this point. Where's the 40 acres and a mule at this point? At this point, anything the government does is like, why did we even vote to get nothing? Like, what are we voting for again? Like, you're not giving nothing I want. You're doing the opposite. So everything the opposite. Why do we need these people again? I'm still trying to figure out politics in any shape, form, or fashion, because it really makes no sense if you vote for somebody that does nothing for you. I've never heard this. Doesn't make sense. Like,
what did you want done?
40 acres and a mule. Let's start there.
That you don't get 40 acres and a mule. You get 10 acres and a pit bull. Like, that's all that's left for you. Like, you're not gonna get the whole set of. But I don't want to blame. Like,
you good with 40 acres and a mule? Like, you good with that?
I'm good. I'm not good with that. I'm just that's the start.
I want education. Yeah, I want match. I want every accessibility that every privileged person has to be spread amongst just like everywhere else. I want you to free my people that got locked up for the same thing that you're allowing other people to do now. And I want them to get business license and you pay for it and and you set them up and that's what I want. And this isn't the only place that I feel like, and because I travel around the world, I don't even want to put like that it is just an American thing. Because when I go to Europe, there were things about their country that they do too that we as Americans would not accept. I know that we're harping on the gas price, but they're going through the same gas thing and they're still getting taxed twice down. So I mean, it happens in different places everywhere, and I feel like every place that you live in, that you call home, that is your native land, should be doing something to help you be productive. Yes, we shouldn't. We should be giving back, but I don't feel like nothing is ever being given back to us without us taking it back. If that makes.
We gotta put up a massive fight.
Yes.
What about you? What do you want then, Miss Melinda?
You said what do I what?
What do you want? You asked me and Tatiana what we wanted.
No, I asked you, and then Miss Tatiana was giving you some examples of what's more than 40 eggs in a mule, I think.
Right. That's what I said, and yeah.
I mean, I would have many things change, and I start with the systems before I start with a end item. I think that that's very short-sighted, and generally speaking, that's how we as a people have been controlled by some item, some amount of money or some product or something. That's nothing. That's
they know that we're going to pay right back.
Yeah, that's a consumable. It gets into this concept of assets versus liabilities or consumables. I want you to give me the fishing rod and the lake as opposed to giving me the fish. That's what I want. So what does that mean?
Teach me to fish.
Yeah, what does that mean in the context of what we're talking about within governments? I don't know, because that means you have to reconstruct everything. The government by definition is designed to do for the people what essentially they feel like the people can't otherwise do for themselves. That's what government is. So
I hear you on that. I mean, me personally, you're right. Definitely got to change systems, the whole plan, especially education. Like, how you teaching math, English, and all these other subjects, but technically don't teach about financial literacy? It doesn't make sense.
Well, my son's school is doing a pretty deep dive into financial literacy, assets, and liabilities. He won't get it because they were doing it with the upper grades, and he's leaving. But I think that these charter schools and things, they could do that.
Right, and building global asset, like actually starting to.
That's not what the original place of a school system was, though. Sure.
Huh? That's the original.
That's not the original concept of what school was built for.
I mean, everything got changed now.
That's the point Ms. Melinda was saying, but I'm just saying what you're putting into it would make we not revamp. We'd have to do an overhaul because that's not originally what it was.
Many non-educated people walking around. Meaning, if you
that's not originally what it was.
Common sense, like we should have common sense class, like.
What's a common sense class?
Yeah, what is that? What's a common sense class?
I think like common things that you have to do. I really think because I do this part. I will say this kind of hurts my feelings because I really care deeply about the kids in their school and what they work and do everything, and everyday things they do not comprehend when you tell them. Like they see the price when they go to Chick-fil-A or they do stuff, but they have no concept of the water bill, the light bill, the bills that you have to sustain your life. And I did in the summer a JA program where we talked about the kids was like, well, I don't want to go home and ask my parents how much money they make. I was like, well, maybe not ask them that, ask them how much it would be to run a household. And they came back and they was like, I didn't know that a 1-bedroom apartment was $1,200. Like in a nice place where they wanted to actually live. So those to me is more common sense thing. Going to a grocery store, knowing how long your food would last. Them kids don't pay attention to that. I was like, oh, y'all gonna hate, y'all throwing away them vegetables. Wait till y'all get older. Y'all gonna want all them vegetables. So to me, that's the common sense things. Knowing how to wash your clothes, knowing how to do other stuff. Because everybody ain't gonna be a millionaire, nor do I expect that to happen, but you definitely need to be able to survive in a normal stance on your own, because I think it's crazy that you don't, and then you think that you're going to get married to somebody and they got to deal with you. Now you somebody else's problem too. Like
Oh,
to
you don't
me
like
those are
a problem. That's a common problem. I feel,
right, and to me those are common sense things. I'm not saying that I have it all. I'm just saying those are things that I think can be added into things
okay.
that would make you a better person.
Okay. Okay.
How did we do it before? Like, why do we now need to be taught how to do
Because
it?
they don't do that at home. And
They
Miss
don't go to the
Melinda,
grocery store?
Miss Melinda, I give you props once again. I telling you, as a parent, I've talked to you here and in person. You do a lot, and there are parents that I do know do a lot, and I always praise them when I see them. But there are parents that don't talk about these conversations. They don't go to the store. Like, I'll give you an example. My mom back in the day when I was little, if I wanted something extra than what was on the list, I had to get a coupon for it. Oh, I'd be searching for a coupon for my cereal because I want my cereal.
Mhm.
Why do you think she did that?
Because she wanted me to understand the value of what the money was. Like, it was about the coupon getting the discount, but it's also about how much does what you want cost? What is the effect of that? Can you really afford it? Is it in your budget? Like, making me give the bigger picture. When I talk to some of these parents, they don't do an evaluation of how they want their child to be built. I meet kids that are cultured and like they're Haitian, I know somebody owns laundromat. They make their kids go to laundromat and work, or they set stuff at them at home. Mom only cooks and she only cleans certain things. So they have the value of being able to sustain themselves as a person. But I know kids, like if you told them to go stay at somebody else's house for a week, they would be the bummiest person you met because they can't sustain keeping their area clean, wiping down, putting their plate away. Just stuff that you don't even think about that you've been doing with your child since they don't make them do.
Mm.
Well, I don't claim to be anything. I do appreciate
Right.
the kind
No, I'm
words
not
you have.
saying you have
I
to
don't
do
claim to be
all of that,
anything.
but it's just having some of that built into your daily. I'm not expecting a parent to go around and making a whole, I'm gonna make you the best person, but I'm saying it should be some things ingrained in your day or whatever. Like, you would not let Cody come in the house and throw his coat on the floor.
I
Right.
mean, we work regularly on that, but I think so. Here's what I think. I think that I think it's short sighted to try to. And this we end up in this place a lot of times on here, like, oh, the parents don't do this. Well, it's much more intricate than that, right? So what
Right.
has happened is, as we've gotten more and more jobs and more quote unquote opportunity and more
Mm-hmm.
integrated into the system, we have less and less time for any of that,
Correct.
any of the relationships. So I don't think, I don't know that you solve it by saying, oh, these parents are not doing their job, we're going to teach this in school. The issue is the value system is
Right.
constantly being eroded. So then the question becomes, how do you fix the value system? So you have
Correct.
to really be talking about what's valuable. And if you're valuable, what does that mean? Why do you take care of yourself? And I think we had a stronger sense of self at some time in the past. It didn't matter how much
Right.
money you had or didn't have.
Right. And that's why I said I would want it to be a home thing, a school thing. I don't mind adding that into my school to make it come to your home and you go back home with it and bring it back to me. I have no problem with that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I realize that it's not there and I don't mind doing it, but it's like we both gotta be like, even if parents send in a thing like, hey, these are things my kid need, I would more appreciate that than like,
I just want somebody to have a good attitude. Like,
right. And those make good personality traits. And it is what it is in your home. Like you said, Miss Melinda, you're very correct. And I believe that, but I'm willing to take that extra measure when it's needed. When you see certain things are needed, I'm willing to go that extra mile to make it happen. Our kids don't know, and I don't want my kids to fail. If I know that my kid's gonna fail by one of the measures, oh, I'm gonna be like, okay, let's add this in. Let's push this in. You do as needed.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think what ends up happening, like you said, though, like you have regularly said in the past, is then you start asking teachers really to do too much. And I'm not saying that's because I'm not saying that that's not what should or may happen. The teachers will step up. I think this, as long the further and further we go into the true fundamental pyramid scheme, which is the what type of economy do we have again?
Right now it's terrible. We don't even know.
What's the name of it? I forgot. I mean, that's crazy. Capitalistic,
right?
Economy. As long as you have that, it's a pyramid, right? And so we're really working to reinforce what drives the profitability at the top. I mean, you need more and more people doing more and more work for less and less.
Right. That's the basis of the school system. The whole school system is for job market of social work. And that's why I was like, when you said break it down and dismantle and restart it, I'd be willing for this to be something to be restarted in there to make better, to make more school for a better school, for better people, for even if that meant we start a little village first, and it's a little village.
I was just gonna say, I was gonna let you.
I was about to say, even if it starts off as we little pods, and we gotta do some, I'm okay, and that's the point I'm getting. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, we got little pods, we podding up.
So that is what I was gonna say when Strategy said, "What do we do now?" I was gonna talk about what some people are doing, right? So I'm a part of a set of folks who have become, let's just say, very, very aware of Africa. And in particular, Black Americans have learned this system of capitalism through blood, sweat, and tears as the fuel, right? The engine of it. But we still have a level of humanity and appreciation, just generically speaking, not every single person. That really puts us in a unique place. And you see people going outside of the country and essentially starting new communities. You see people going in the U.S. and to remote places and doing it. So I think there are a lot of things to think about, because I think a lot of people have gotten disenchanted or lost, frankly, belief, right, in the political system delivering anything for them. So then the question is, what do you do? Like, do you just kind of work with the folks who are on your same wavelength and go and create what you do think, or at least the most fundamental you can get as to what you want? That's a part of the question, because as long as you're plugged into the system, it's not going to be time to be parenting. But I would argue, I mean, I ask myself that question a lot, because I would argue there was never time.
Ever?
There was never time, right? I mean, so it's something is just fundamentally, it might be that the world is too distracting, but there was never time. Like, people worked, I would argue, physically harder in times past and longer hours in times past. I don't think they spent a whole lot of time sitting and talking to their kids. It was less time spent.
Right.
I don't know. I have to say, I kind of had the little extended family type situation. Like, so they took me in while my mom was at work, and they all agreed upon the same rules. Like, when I was at their house, like, if y'all get in trouble, you getting beat too. Like, it's type situation. Like, and I'd be like, don't y'all do nothing, because I can't take no beating. Like, so I that's what type of life that I had. And there was a bunch of people that my mom could depend on. And that's kind of like where it's at. I mean, not everybody has that. Not everybody is fortunate to get that either. But I was lucky enough
people have that
to be right. And I was fortunate enough. I didn't have some things, but I definitely had that. I didn't have a father in my life, but there are other people that stepped up and still step up to this day. Like, I'm old and I'll be like, yeah, that's my uncle. Like, So yeah.
Yeah, so what happens, what has happened though, this is exactly what I'm saying. From a system perspective, we've gotten all these big old degrees and all these big old jobs, and so we move to where the money is. And so there are not those nuclear families for generations and generations and generations are not as prevalent as they used to be. And so this is what has become, right? I was a latchkey generation kid. I remember that term. I remember a thing. So that's when parents worked. And so the kids had to let themselves in to the house in elementary school ages. It was called the latchkey programs, right? And so then that went to now, it's way worse.
So, internet watch you.
Yeah, exactly. At an early age, right? So then the question though becomes, if you're going to get more and more and more productivity out of people, how does this doesn't get better ever? What I think ends up having to happen is people have to get resolved to not necessarily have all the money. That's what has to happen. There's no way for everybody to have all the money, everybody to work less and less.
Right.
You mean a billionaire?
Well, I don't know. They just switched to 4-day weeks overseas. And then before that, they only worked 32 hours a week. I just want to know how they did it. I'm just trying.
I mean, I would argue we're doing it now with remote work. That's it. Basically, we turned into Europe.
Well, that was nice, but it ain't gonna happen again.
I mean, but
it did happen because a lot of places don't even stay open as long as we turned into Europe. I lived in Paris for a year and a half. I know they do not live to work. So they will close in your face. And it will be early, and stores are not open.
The best thing ever was you go over there and they actually close for tea time. They not playing with you.
So I mean, we have gotten closer to that though. A lot of places still close early. You're like, what you mean you're closing at 7?
I feel like us as people knowing what we could work and not work, we've also been like, we're not going to do that neither. We've stepped back because I know I've been to work and I'm like, yeah. Don't call me on Friday because I won't be here. Like, and if you call, you going straight to voicemail. Like, you setting some priorities amongst, because you're like, you really don't make that much more money. Like, you stay at work later, and that's one of the reasons I'm not working for the summer. They was like, but you make more money. I'm like,
not enough more.
Not enough more. I could just turn a couple more lights off in the house, eat a little less, not go to work because it's going to cost me to get there.
Right. It costs more to work.
Right. The girl was telling me today it cost her $25 to $35 a day to get to work. And she makes $120 a day. And that to me that's dumbfounding.
It's overkill. That's overkill.
That's a great question though. Like, so what to do?
I mean, that's the softest blow is what is it? What can we actually do to actually change this whole mentality? Just coming up with a better way of doing things might be $1 billion dream right there. Like, how we really need to change this whole perception. That was a good, conversation about that. I'm flabbergasted about it. What do you guys think about Monique and her Netflix theory? Well, she actually won. She won a little bit of money. At first she wanted $500,000. So hopefully she won all of it. What do you think? No, Tatiana? No?
Well, excuse me, before I say this. I guess how you handle a situation, and if you continually handle all your situations that way, people will look at you in a certain light, regardless whether you're right or wrong. Because they like, what's the old saying? Like, don't argue with a fool because they ain't going to know who the difference between the two type situation. And I'm glad that she got her money and she feels like that, she was vindicated for all of her things because she may have had strong points, but I feel And it's just as mine, because this is what she does. I feel when she's trying to get her point across, she uses attack manners to do it. And in the process, she was attacking people like the bonnet situation and other things. And I'm like, you're trying to get people to back you, but I can see where you're right about your situation. But this rest of this stuff you're doing, I'm sorry, I can't agree with you. I can't agree with you, ma'am. Like, you think that you're worth more money, then you go out and you get more money. Your husband's your manager, you make that happen. But in the process, I don't feel like you attack people to get what you want, because it backfires on you. Like, literally the week after she was doing that, she was talking about people with bonnets, and I'm like, girl, she spent $200 on getting her hair done, and the wig is $500. She won't put that bonnet on, baby. Don't talk to her. Don't talk to her. Get out of here. Nobody says nothing to nothing when other people walk up in here with their pajamas looking funky. Leave people alone to do what they want to do. If you don't like it,
Keep your
tough.
mouth closed.
Keep your mouth closed. So it made it hard for her stance of what she was saying to be, to be heard. And then, like, if my man is my manager and we ain't getting paid, something gotta give. something ain't right. Like, we're she was like with the Daniels. What was she mad about? She was mad because he wanted her to uh tour overseas and not get paid for it. You writing everything out that I'm doing and getting paid for. Like, I'm not doing nothing for free. Do y'all go to work? Do y'all go to work and do extra stuff for free? They could just slide stuff in. No. And then the recent thing with the DL Hughley, I think it was very disrespectful, because you don't bring people's family into stuff. And then secondly, if I paid for a show and she got up there and was ranting, I'd have been like, boo, I ain't paid for this. I ain't paid for this.
You gonna boo Monique?
If she got up there and did that and I paid my money, as boo. I've been to plenty of comic shows. I will boo you.
Yeah, I remember seeing Steve Harvey get booed on Kings of Comedy, and he was all angry about
Tiffany
it.
Haddish.
I've hated him since then. Like, how
Kevin Hart.
How you cussing out the audience because you ain't funny?
Thank you, Miss Melinda. Please back up. That's all I'm saying, because
can't stand y'all.
Why can't you stand me? I did not pay money. We literally work stressful jobs every day. We live stressful lives. We live with problems. We go to a comedy show. The word comedy literally in the saying. We came here to laugh. We paid our money to laugh. And I don't care. They was like, DL Hughley not that funny. You paid your money to come see. They paid their money. So whether you think he's funny or not is beside the point.
Well, I think that comedians are our best activists right now. They're not the Dick Gregory's of the world, but I think they can actually say stuff inappropriately and get away with it more than the average bear. Like, I just really want them to say it instead of me saying it. So, I mean, I know
because we're gonna get vilified.
Yeah, we're
gonna get vilified when we say the things that we need to say.
I think they're great activists. I really do.
I'm glad she got her money. I think that's really great. I hope that she changes her attitude of how she deals with people within business, and her husband helps her out. And if she come out here and say anything else about Black women and what we be doing, I'm gonna be very mad, because you don't pay not nair bill over here, over there, back there, in the front, and these are the people who are your supporters. That's the bad part about it. These are the people who actually been supporting her all along. When you was big, Monique. When you was real
exactly.
big.
So let's talk about it. I mean, that's the thing. I ain't never liked Monique, because she ain't never liked me.
Oh, here we go. Bring it out. Talk about it, Miss Melinda.
She ain't never liked me, and I ain't even know her. And furthermore, okay, cool, right? That can be a ongoing disconnect. Oh, she was skinny bees, right? That was literally Monique. That's where that came from. And then you go get a gastric bypass.
Right. She's still not small though.
It still ain't small. But the gastric bypass, it's like you go get a procedure after
That's
years
serious.
and years and years and years of being completely denigrating to people because they were small. Like, he has just no credibility to me at all, ever again.
And that was like, and the bad part about it is that being a heavier set girl and always being that was like her one go-to joke. She didn't have
correct
various other things of jokes. And it's like, as a big girl, which, you know, you get vilified for your body if it's not shapely enough, and a really small girl if you're not, you know, have any the same qualities. It didn't make it any better for either of us. Now us on the outside looking at each other like, well, neither one of us ain't here. Because you got us thinking that there's this thing between us, and we both struggling in our own right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to have a friend that was very small. When I'm talking small, she shopped in the girls section, and I was in the plus size section. And I actually hated going out with her because guys didn't want to talk to her, but they didn't want to talk to me neither, because we were just so... it was just so bad. Like, she was just so skinny and I was just so big. It was like together we was like, one could eat no fat, one could eat no lean. And it would make when Monique says things like that, or people make those type of suggestions, it puts people in the mind frame that a big girl thinks that about a small girl, obviously. And you put in this mindset that's not healthy, especially amongst people of color. We already got enough going on. Do we really need to be worried about that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Do we need that to be the focus? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to hate going to the gym because it'd be like small girls, and I'd be like, oh my God. Like, you know what I mean?
But Monique ain't got no credibility, because, to your point, I ain't forgot that. I ain't forgot all the stuff she said. Now you want to come out and jump up on a high horse and talk about what women, black girls, looking like in public after you had all that to say about a black woman you didn't even know because she was small. But now you somehow justified to get up on a high horse.
She was the bottom of the queens of the comedy. Yeah. So we put ranking queens of comedy. She was the bottom.
Yeah, you don't like her high? That's messed up now.
You like her?
What do you mean?
I thought there was things that she said was funny, but I do not like
my choices out of the queen of comedy.
She was?
No, I'm saying, what's the choices out of queen of comedy?
Oh, who are the
some more?
Some more. Yeah, I'm with
who else?
I don't know who else was. I can't even think of that, but it ain't her.
But why they all gotta be like that then? They all just gotta be.
Yeah, so
because they were supposed to be equally good. It was supposed to be a showcase of black women showing themselves being well, and it was supposed to be like.
But why they all gotta be filthy mild? Like, they all gotta be like somebody who would be in the back of a juke joint.
Ain't no Sinbads out there.
Ain't no Sinbad, right? It's a Sinbad.
Ain't no Sinbads out there no more.
But it was never no Sinbad. Well, I guess somebody like a Whoopi Goldberg would have been the example. Right. It was never no women.
Yeah, they don't think that much.
Who else is they? Laura Hayes and Adele Givens.
Oh, okay.
Which were older comedians, and it was supposed to be comedians from that age that came from Comic View, and them coming together, showing a solidarity of black women. Yeah, their mouth were a little filthy, but I feel like the other two women weren't degrading. They talked about past, they talked about things that we as black people would know for community. But then when you got to Monique, she like, that didn't make me feel empowered. That's all that was. Like, that did not make me feel like putting on a pair of heels, putting on nothing. That didn't help. That's all I'm saying. That's real. That's all I'm saying. When I go to a comedy show, I want to feel good. I do want there to be some informative information slid in there, because when you watch the Kings of Comedy, there was some information about,
stands out today, especially with Miss Melinda. don't like Monique. She don't like me. Like, how do you know she don't like you? Like, what?
Because she didn't like skinny chicks.
That's exactly right. And back then, I was probably 110 pounds. So I can what?
So this is a preference thing right now.
It's not. It's what she said, but you're not understanding. People of every Black people, white people, everybody watched that show, and it was a thought process that big girls thought like that. One, she thought like that and put that out there, and then it made like this scenario within people's head, like Miss Melinda said. Why are you talking about me and people of my size and you don't know us? So then think about how it feels to have a big girl. You were supposed to be giving us confidence. That's not giving me confidence talking about a smaller woman. That's
not necessarily saying that Jennifer Hudson looks scrumptious skinny. I kind of liked her big. Like,
yeah, but you might like big girls. That's fine.
No, I like both. I just didn't like Jennifer Hudson's change. Like Lil' Kim, I don't know what she doing to herself.
What does that have to do? But we're talking about. Everybody has a preference, so that's the point, right? Like, so if you like big girls, fine. You like little girls, fine.
Not if you messing it up. I don't like the drastic change.
He's saying the way that she already was. He thinks that it was. No, that like people like Jennifer Hudson, she was bigger and things like that. But Monique, I don't know what
talking about. Monique wasn't talking about people changing their size. If anything, then what you should be saying is, do you like Monique? Because Monique is the one who had a gastric bypass. We're not talking about people who changed. We're talking about she didn't like people who literally was born smaller.
Her head didn't get smaller, so
you going down for that one. You gonna say her head didn't get smaller. I'm just saying, like, I don't think. See, I think so. This is the point of view part where you need to understand, Strad. This is the point of view that you need to understand from a woman's point of view. When women speak, and they speak, whether it be comedy, spoken word, in the street, and they look like you, and they get up on the stage and they say something, it is a representation of you, regardless whether you want to admit it or not. You're on a large forum of stage. And what she said was putting out hate. And certain people took it to offense that, oh, skinny bitches is way. But then there were skinny women who thought that all big women thought that because Monique said. So it made this counteractive conversation that never even took place come to life because of what she said. And it literally spewed in, not saying that every person felt like that. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying every big girl was hating little people and every little girl was, that little smaller woman was hating big. But it put the condensation that that's what was going on, was happening. And she continued to do that even when they did the movie, which I do understand. They did say some things that were great within the movie. What was the movie?
Precious?
That was the worst movie ever.
No, not Precious.
That's what she won the award for. That's what I was reading. I'm like,
no, she did a movie where like she was like, what is the name of the movie?
Or for degrading another child. That just I didn't.
No, she made another movie, Fat Girls.
Yeah, but
and in Fat Girls, she showed, huh?
She barely got any ratings for that.
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about things that she showed. That's the time when you make movies that you show things that the person who you are goes through. Like when going to the store and they kept giving us the ugly flower prints and the bad prints in the big girl section. Like, we want the cute designs too. Like, I'm just saying, those are the times you say that. You don't get up on a stage and continually spew some type of negatively hate towards other people for your show. That's what I mean. There's a time and a way to show things that you don't like and things that you want, but it should have been a way to bring you together, not separate us.
Not divided. Okay. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel y'all tonight. For real. So my last thing I want to say is, what do you guys think about, can you ride in a U-Haul with a bunch of people in it?
No, it's against the law.
Is it against
yes, it is against the law.
What do you mean in the back of it?
Right, to have people in the back of the U-Haul, you cannot do that.
What do you mean? That's what? Am I talking about smuggling Mexicans or something?
Here we go. You cannot rent. Okay.
What
So what
happened
happened was a
Educate. Go ahead.
racial
Talk about it.
cops pulled over a U-Haul truck. When they
in
opened it,
Texas
yes, when
or
they opened
Florida?
it was a bunch of no, I think it was like Indiana or Ohio. I'm thinking.
No, it was up in one of these places, and I was not in Texas. Go ahead. There we go.
Idaho, something, wherever it was, they had a bunch of racial subliminally people in the back of the thing. So I guess
Subliminally. What you mean? Racist?
they were definitely racist.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the truck, like Proud Boys kind of people.
Right. So I was like, why did they get pulled over? Tatiana's telling me that they got pulled over because it illegal to ride with people in the car.
I'm sure.
It's illegal to get a U-Haul and ride in the back of it. In some states, it is illegal to ride in the back of the pickup truck. In some places, every state has different rules, but you cannot rent a U-Haul and be like, "Oh, all my friends get inside the U-Haul and be carrying people."
Party bus.
This is not a party bus.
Yeah, because I mean that's not
it's
a
dangerous.
passenger car, a passenger it's not a passenger carrier
Vehicle, right?
It's cargo carrier.
Okay, I just wanted to ask the question because
So I appreciate that people are finally getting in trouble for what they're not supposed to be doing. Thank you very much.
that makes me feel good.
Thank you very much. And I like to see people with the rights.
Oh, right, cuss, right.
Right. I like to see exactly what's supposed to happen. I want you to do the same thing that you would do if you came to the neighborhood, if you came out to where I live at, and with the paddy wagon and everything else on the sun. I want the same, like.
I still think that people that live in the neighborhood should police their own neighborhood. It shouldn't be somebody coming from West Chapel 2 hours from now, riding to the precinct to come around when they should
Right, because they don't know the neighborhood. Like, they don't know the people within their neighborhood. Or if they are, they should be better. But that just would mean that people would have to be trained differently and they would have to learn stuff. And that seems like a lot for some people.
I'd rather have that than a lot of deaths. And I'd rather know the person that's talking to me. That's it. I just got to know people. I mean, I need a family to protect, not be protected by somebody I don't know. That doesn't make sense. Like, pull me over. I'm still trying to figure out what is the point of pulling people over. Why do people get pulled over so drastically, so randomly all the time? Like, why is it a road job? So being outside is a job for somebody else.
Yeah, because they're supposedly supposed to be protecting service. I think like one of the stupidest things here, since we're talking about that, it's a tent waiver. I particularly have tent on my car because I need it for neurological problems so that the sun does not hurt my eyes as much. And the way that my particular car that I have and the thing, I have been so glad that I have not been pulled over, because the day you pull me over, you about to work real hard. I'm gonna make you work for that check today. You're gonna be like, you know what? Let's put this, don't pull this over no more. Like, let's not do this, because I'm gonna crack the window. Why did you pull me over? My stuff, everything right here. Don't play with me. But there are different ways that people who work on the force feel like their area should be policed and should be done. But in actuality, that needs to become from the community. The community needs to be on you like, nah, you can't just be getting people like that and doing that. But that's not something that is a normality, particularly here. I know some towns it is. I can't actually say I know one place that it is in North Carolina, and it's just because it's so small. But your community would have to step up. That's once again, this goes back to what we said about the schools and the village and pods coming in and being like, hey, we pay your money, you listen to us. This is kind of the things that we won't stand for.
Yeah, I just wanted to get y'all insight on that. I mean, I really don't want to go too far in on, these injustices that's been happening. I've been seeing a lot of people get backslapped lately off of them just word of mouth. What did you just say type deal? What you say? And pop, Like, oh, I thought you was gonna duck. Oh, pop, I thought you was gonna duck. So I'm really feeling how we just kind of change the perception that just keep staying silence thing isn't working for people anymore. We're not being silent about anything. It's time to actually, last year was we out this summer. We coming out, we stepping out this summer. This year is, you know, let's just kind of like take what we want. Like it's ours anyway. So let's just kind of dominate what we want and let's dominate everything that we trying to do with ourselves. Because right now, ladies, I know you are in domination mode. Let's end it. I'm trying to end my school year dominating, but I know I want our pockets to dominate. So kind of tonight, so a team is up by like 15 points right now. And if they win, I made a prediction at the beginning of this finals. My prediction is actually coming into fruition. So I'm going to finish out and watch that thing.
Sports betting is one of the up and coming things, apparently.
Warren Buffett.
Oh, yes, it is. I will not talk about my winnings, but I won really, really big one year when my team won. It was so grand.
Oh, okay. When your team won the Super Bowl.
Yes, when they won the Super Bowl, it was so grand.
I bet it was. Hopefully my team will win the Super Bowl one day. But well, like I said, I did predict this final at the beginning of the teams to go to this game 6 right now. I also predicted the team to win, and I'm up. I'm looking good. I'm looking pretty decent right now. So I'm looking to celebrate just a little bit. So this celebration has been a good part of the show because the simple fact I know, really the stock market is Miss Melinda's thing now. Like that's her baby. So she's been out of touch a little bit on the stock market, but only to take a rest on it. You know what I'm saying? To rest her funds, to rest her dividends, and see where she's going to go full force in. And maybe, me giving her a little bit of push to see how everything is going right now is basically was a good term to see where her head was at when it comes to the stock market. And yes, the money line has been hitting. I mean, let's be honest about Warren Buffett. He can claim and talk about his millions, but it all started from him making a sports bet. So believe that one little bet that he made is now he's a millionaire. So that's exactly how it happened to his life. Don't get it twisted. I'm not asking you guys to throw your whole livelihood out for any type of lottery winnings, but I'm asking you to think successfully. If you can't do it through your job, you're going to have to think some type of other way. So whatever your stocks, your dividends, your bonds, or if you buy houses, you need to come up with different ways on how you're going to make more money. It just has to be a plan. And if you don't have a plan, then maybe that's a plan. You know what I mean? Just give yourself a chance to, be successful. I want you to give yourselves a chance. So by me saying that, I want to really give yourselves a little chance to talk about what you do, your business, and just the flow and philosophy of who you are. Because I really love how you ladies talk about yourselves. So just talk about who you are, what you're doing, and how they can actually find you and reach you. What's going on, Miss Melinda?
All right, this was a good one. I am Melinda, and I've been recently enumerating the number of things that I'm doing. And so I wear different hats and in different environments, but it has really been exciting. I am the founder and CEO of Mental Massage, which can be found at MentalMassageWellness.com. That's MentalMassageWellness.com. I am currently focused on producing some journal material as well as other products to help people understand and see and recognize the Mental Massage brand as it relates to women, self-care, leading organizations, businesses, and what I call intense households. I also am working more and more in the capacity of helping businesses procure and to obtain government contracts under my Excellence as a Service or EAAS consulting company. And I am very involved with multiple technology startups. In particular, very involved with companies doing metaverse, Web3, Web4 things, which we'll have to talk about one of these days. Happy to be here. It's been a blast, and looking forward to the next show.
And Miss Tatiana.
All right. My name is Tatiana. Right now, I have been working on a lot of things. Um, I'm glad to know that the entrepreneurship program is pouring into me and allowing me to better myself and better the company, which also will give me a greater wealth. Understanding how to use that wealth and um, within my business. So I am the owner of AmorBlue. I make jewelry customized, which goes from waist beads to bracelets. It's kind of endless. It's if you think it, I can make it. I also produce art and am art framer and a designer. So I'm getting back into my clothing, which will be something that I will be wearing when I go out to my vendor events. I will have them on my link tree. All of the places that you can find me will be on there: Instagram, YouTube, whatever. It will all be there. So you can now find me in one spot and just go through things I use, things I buy, um, even daily sayings and things that I use to get through, you can find there. So check me out, AmorBlue on Linktree.
Well. I really do like this show. I actually really love how we're talking about ourselves and your businesses. I see the philosophies that you have and the businesses that you have, the mental massage and the more blue. I am Stradivari, Mr. B. I have a virtual music store, but also I'm a music teacher. And as I'm a music teacher, I am coming out with my own music, starting out with my own classes in session. These are just some of the beats that I made inside my school. And I'm just going to show them how you can actually make beats and put your music out there so the world can hear it. It's about time that, I give a chance to, show what I can actually do and also teach kids. So I make a virtual music store, but definitely if you want to teach me and use me, I can use you. So I'm going to help you teach your child to become music producers. I can also teach you how to draw and make your own books, or I can also talk to you and give you a little bit of insight on how you can build your wealth and your self-care. So as of today, I really would like to say thank you, ladies, for just coming on and giving me a little bit of stock tips. You never know what people can actually need, and you never know how people can react off of how you're talking to them. So I love how all of your questions, everything was wonderful today. Your insight was so loving and revealing. So I'm glad you revealed a couple things that the world can hear, so we can actually benefit from that. Just don't put your money in just the bank. Actually build it on like some mutual funds, or just put it in something that's going to build instead of just stalemate. Just stay there. So that was one big major catch that everybody should just listen to. So as this popular opinion has gone, we always got to say, have a good one. But most of all, it's great to see these ladies on the show. So have a great one.
On the unpopular opinion, we have author of Surviving Tough Times, MsUnderstood, Adrienne, entrepreneur, Miss AmorBlue, Tatiana, owner of Mental Massage, Melinda, your host, Stradivari, on the unpopular opinion. So let me ask you, ladies, sisters, we gotta talk about the stock market. Please, Monique, Netflix, are we serious? Get paid like the World Trade.
As racially motivated as you are,
You haul?
not
Really?
so much.